Hi everyone, I thought I'd do a video on my symptoms I had during my illness to see if you can relate to them in any way, or if you have similar ones. Maybe it's reassuring for you to hear someone that's had similar symptoms to you and recovered from them. And I was just watching a quick little documentary I stumbled upon on YouTube with chronic fatigue patients, and I just remember some of the symptoms I have. It's strange when you overcome something like this. You really do almost forget those miserable years that I had. So I'll start from the top of my body, just so I can remember them more. So the first one is hair. It's really weird. At times it felt like it hurt to do that with my hair. Like, just touching my hair hurt. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't like just putting your fingers through your hair. It was like, I don't know, it's like one of those metal brushes. It just felt like when I was putting, it wasn't pleasant to touch my hair. Moving down, I always had very tired eyes. I had a strip across here, and it felt like I had just weights on my eyelids. It felt very difficult to keep my eyes awake, my eyes open to focus on things. My cognitive function was dreadful. Brain fog. I just couldn't concentrate on anything. Even things that I once enjoyed, I just couldn't concentrate on them. Next thing would be, let me think, just fatigue. Everyone has fatigue. Just unrelenting fatigue. It's more tired than if I go for the longest bike ride I've ever been for now, I will not even compare to how tired I was during those years with chronic fatigue. No, not even close. It's just a new level of fatigue. Moving down, I used to get really sharp pains around my body, through my forearms, in my hands. It felt like a nail going through here, in my hands. Felt like a nail going through there. Really sharp shooting pains in my forearms, under my left collarbone mainly, in my left side of my chest. I used to think it was a heart problem because it really did hurt. Used to get pains in my legs. What other symptoms I have? For example, really strange ones. Going down the stairs. I've never heard anyone mention this. I'm not sure what kind of a symptom it is, but when I was walking down the stairs, and you have your hand on the banister. Well, when I would move my hand down the banister like this, it felt like I could feel my hand back there for a few seconds. Like ghosting. I imagine what it would feel like if you had an amputated limb. It felt like I was moving my hand down the banister, but my feeling of my hand was delayed. Like, I was delayed in my feelings of my hand. So when I moved my hand, this wasn't all the time, but when I would move my hand, it felt like it was delayed in where I felt. Another symptom with my hands. I had so many symptoms with my hands. I used to sit with ice packs on my arm, on my bed a lot of the time because it was so painful. Another symptom was grip. If I had done that 2 years ago, I would have needed to have sat down and had a sleep. If I gripped anything, I just felt like a ragdoll. I just felt like all my energy was gone. I can remember it so clearly when I think about it. I'd grip and I'd just fall asleep. Other symptoms up here were pot symptoms. For example, if I had my hands above my head, for example, I've said it many times, my mum asked me to hold up a curtain pole so she could put the curtains on the pole. So I hold it up, 5 seconds later my vision blacks out. Just, when you do this with your eyes and it goes like fuzzy black and white like a television. Yeah, I did that, and I had to rest for the whole day because holding something above my head just drained me. Another symptom I had was felt like someone was injecting in my arm, and it felt like they were just sucking all the energy out of me through a point. Usually on the inside of your arm, opposite to where your elbow is. And it just felt like all the energy was being drained out of me, and I just felt like a rag doll again. So many of my symptoms were just unrelenting fatigue to the point that I couldn't do anything. In the beginning, I still could watch, play games and stuff in the first few years, but it got to the point where I just couldn't concentrate. I hated noise. If I heard a doorbell go or a dog bark, all of a sudden I got an insane adrenaline rush. I felt like how someone would react if they were being shot at from just a doorbell ringing or something. I hated noise. It felt like people were being overly loud. If someone was talking, it would feel like they were shouting almost. It's like, oh, just quiet down. And they're like, what are you on about? Everything felt loud. Sensitivity to light, I used to shut my curtains and put a blanket over so that the room was completely dark, because light just very sensitive to light, very sensitive to sound. In the documentary that I was listening to of chronic fatigue, it felt like, what did he say? He said that people with chronic fatigue usually are very sensitive to stimulation, and I 100% agree with that completely. It's why I say in all my videos to avoid a stimulation of any sort as much as possible. That's what I had to do to recover. As for other symptoms, I'm sure I'm missing some. It was just pain, fatigue, brain fog, random, I think they're neurological symptoms, with the moving down the manister and the hand thing. Just pains. Yeah, I think that's everything. You can never be too sure, because everyone of you know with chronic fatigue and all these things that symptoms are morphing all the time. As time went on, my symptoms got worse and I introduced new symptoms that I never had before. So in the beginning it was just more of a fatigue and brain fog kind of thing. I also was experiencing panic attacks. That's when I knew I had to leave school, because all of a sudden I was getting panic attacks, which I've never had before, never been a panicky person, never been an anxious person. All of a sudden I was so anxious around people, around anyone. That's when I knew something had to change. I couldn't live like this anymore. So yeah, that's the other thing, is anxiety. I know this is really, it's embarrassing, but during my years with illness, I was so anxious about anything that was out of the ordinary, anything that was, if I heard that a friend was ringing the doorbell, I was extremely anxious, just anxious about everything, just constantly anxious, always on the edge, always wired, tired but wired, which is, many people experience that. Just, you cannot function with chronic fatigue ME. I look back at my life now and I say 7-8 years of my life I've spent in this fucking house, yeah? But what could I have done? You cannot function like that. So I feel it's very important for me to get to people before they waste that many years like I did. Because if I had had this channel to look for answers, I feel like I could have recovered sooner. I don't know for sure I would have, but what can you do? There's just not many people out there saying what I'm saying. They're all trying to promise you all these quick treatments. You can recover from chronic fatigue in a few months. All you have to do is this treatment plan or this lightning process, or just sort your mind out and then your body will follow suit. No, you sort your body out and then your mind will follow suit. That's what I believe. Anyway, I think that's all the symptoms. You can never be too sure. As soon as I recovered, it was like it just left. All that pain and misery, I just forgot about it straight away. So yeah, it was fatigue, brain fog, mainly around just incredible fatigue in my face. At one point, I swear I had like a mini stroke, because this side of my face I felt like the muscles here were down, and here it just felt like my face was slowly slanting down on one side. I took pictures and it did look like it had gone down, if you know what I mean. But I probably didn't have a stroke. I probably had the verge of having a mini stroke or something. Just the stress of everything and not knowing if I was ever going to get better was very stressful, as you all probably know. And yeah, I was just someone asking that it may be reassuring for people to hear my symptoms and what I had. Oh, one more thing, chemical sensitivities. If my mum was cleaning the floors downstairs, if I was anywhere, even from upstairs, I could smell it and I felt dizzy. Even if it's diluted, tiny amounts of bleach, cleaning the toilets, anything, I just could smell chemicals a mile away. And I reacted very badly to them. For example, I could not use any products in the end. Johnson's Baby shampoo gave me like slight burns all around my hairline, because obviously it was too strong for me, even though it's meant for a baby. Just it really does affect everything. You just become sensitive to everything, sensitive to all sounds, all products, all everything. It's very important to get rid of all of that to get the burden off your body. I could keep remembering symptoms like this. If I remember them, I'll put them in the comments, but I just wanted to let you know what kind of symptoms I had during my time with chronic illness. Yeah, so maybe this helped, maybe it won't. Who cares? Might as well get videos up there. Maybe certain titles will get more people to my channel. I would like to get more people to my channel and experimenting than some of the other channels I see. For example, I clicked on a recovery story from a guy and he's talking about how he recovered from herbal tonics. I don't think it is the right way to optimal health. I don't think you can... I'm not saying that tonics and stuff are not beneficial. I believe they do probably have benefits, but they are not... Your body does not need dandelions to recover. It doesn't need anything.